for a quick-acting sorrow abatement. Please reach under your seats right now to find your official Spancer survival kits. Inside every Spancer survival kit, you will find 1 packet of ultra-absorbent tear chamois, 1 vodka, 1 Tapatio, in case you'd like a tiny Bloody Mary, 2 Advils in case of tiny hangover, a kazoo, a prophylactic, and a dreidel. These last 3 should be deployed simultaneously for maximum grief alleviation. Our next presenter earned his first Spancy nomination in 1971, when he originated the role of David Spancer's brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Stanley Spancer.
First, didn't know that. I knew I was early though. It's good this is here. I can't really see too much, so that's good. There was no way I was writing a speech with this crowd, obviously, because after I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't write this. There's 800,000 professional writers here, so I had a bunch of words I was writing down, and then I probably wrote 25 pages and decided I needed to write a little speech. So, crazy. 2 seconds. Gotta be able to breathe. Didn't know I was going first. All right, growing up as David's little brother was amazing for me. He was not only the smartest guy I knew, he was the funniest, wittiest, most sarcastic, at the same time the most inspiring person that I had ever had the privilege to know. Not an easy task. He knew he was smart, he challenged you, and he knew he was witty and funny, but not in an arrogant way, an almost humbling way. But I really wish he knew how many people respected him and admired him, and looked up to him, especially me. How many people you know went to college at 14 years old? He was definitely a genius. You didn't need to know his IQ to know that about him. He was a special person, and he saw the world in a really special way. As brothers, I felt we were kind of a perfect fit. We shared a lot of the same thoughts and a lot of the same feelings, but we were so different, it was great. There was no animosity, no jealousy, just true brotherly love, friendship. What we wanted was the best for each other. He always seemed to know the answer to every question I had. He could answer everything. But for some reason, my knowledge was different than David's, and he would call me and ask me all sorts of things, and I could actually answer them for him, which felt good to me. Since I know I was bugging him, Dave, how do I do this? What am I doing here? How do I download it? I don't even know what to do on a computer, so. We had so many holidays, so many trips. Took his families, along his brothers. I don't need to tell you guys, it's all fucking crazy right there. David was so ahead of his time. He was a filmmaker and director at birth. He started doing Super 8 films on our dad's silent camera. First, he would tell me to stick my fingers out like a laser gun, and he'd go back and he'd splice this stuff and scratch out little lasers, film by, piece by piece, and I don't know, made me look like I was blowing things up everywhere. He also had me jumping off of cars, and actually jumped off our roof backwards one time. And he made it look like I could jump on our roof. So I still don't know what he did, but he did that. He's also the first person I knew that made computer programs on a Radio Shack computer in DOS. I think he went to some school for that too. I'm not really sure. I remember he programmed asteroids, a little triangle that spins around in circles, and these little balls that look like the rocks coming at you, and it took like 3 nights to program just that, and then he made it zoom across the screen another night, and there was a couple times where he did some programs, and I don't know why there was no save, or you couldn't save, or that was like an $8 billion computer, but he would lose like 8 hours of work, and you'd hear him scream, and he'd go crazy, and then he'd do it again, and I just didn't understand it. We did all these huge setups of dominoes, or basically he did. I would start the first 5 minutes and want to knock everything down. And he's like, just go in the other room, I'll call you when it's done, you can say you did it. So I'd come back 2 hours later, there'd be dominoes up the piano, down the thing, jumping, sliding, this and that, and for some reason it worked every single time he did it. And so it wasn't like, oh, half it fell down, it didn't work, David just knew how to do things right. All the Seder in the deserts. One time we decided to hike all the way up to the Calico sign. I don't know if you guys know, it's in Barstow. You drive by it on the freeway all the time. It's at the top of the hill. It doesn't look too far away. So 6 hours later, we never brought any water. It was probably 90 or 100 degrees. We come down like couldn't breathe. Had totally dehydrated. It was crazy. So many unbelievable experiences there. The families and love growing up with all those families. You know who you are. You're all family. And David knew that. And it was really important to him for you to know that too. Everything was special. He didn't say too many things like that, but he tried to show it. Can't see the page. All the times we were in temple, he would do these drawings that literally looked identical to what you were looking at. And people would wait to see what David was drawing that night. His skills were crazy. He could, David, will you do this, design a logo for me. Here's 3,000 logos. Which one do you like better? He always wanted to learn. He was happy to learn, even though he thought he knew everything, but he was happy to learn. He'd let you know that. Trips to New York, so many trips. Can't even talk about so many of them. One of them, we went on a trip with April and our family, and we stayed in a hotel that was a motel. I don't even know if it's a motel. It was, I don't even know, somewhere in the middle of Amish town and near a jail, and there were bugs in every bed. Slept full clothes. I don't think we slept really, it was just disgusting. It was crazy. But it was fun. We drove across Florida one time from my cousin Lori's house to Disney World. Great trip, including purple unicorns and all. While at Disney World, we were in Epcot Center where it was 95 degrees, raining on us. It was awesome, a lot of Mickey Pops, and I think we went back and showered 6 times at the hotel, but it was a crazy experience. My parents' 25th anniversary cruise, where we had our own cabin. I just turned 18, so you're basically 21. You could gamble and party, and it was definitely party time. I think our bar bill was more than our trip. Had no idea that the margaritas were $22 a piece. Yesterday, I had a friend call me and tell me he was devastated, but he wanted to remind me that David was still the only person who has ever solved his Rubik's Cube to this day. His sense of direction was perfect, and if yours wasn't, look out for the sarcastic onslaught that was coming your way. You've never been there before, but he's yelling at you that you don't know where you're going, but he knows where he's going. He loves being an uncle. He loves being a nephew. He loved being a friend. But he was Uncle David. Break time. I can breathe again when I do that. And I asked McKenna what she wanted to tell her Uncle David, and she said she loved him, and she was happy that he taught her how to learn how to play piano. She doesn't know how to play piano. But David knew how to play piano. And growing up, we did a lot of it. He would play, I would try to sing, my dad would try to sing, and my mom would play, and he would play piano or guitar or whatever else, because he'd play everything. So it was banjo. But that was definitely one of the memories that I have, that, you know, me and David just sitting there, singing and playing. Definitely could go on forever. I need to tell you that David was the strongest person I had ever met. I knew that, but I really learned that. He took this head on with no fear, never wavered, never showed that it mattered, except trying to get better. I think twice he put his head on my shoulder, you know? Maybe at the end a little more, but he was so solid. It was amazing. Nothing was broken in his house. And April was so strong. I don't know if you were there. Just a rock. It was amazing. And still is amazing. I know it's going to be hard, and we're going to be sad, but we cannot sit and sulk. We can be sad. We're going to be sad for a while. I'm not talking about tomorrow. But we need to keep David's spirit alive with our strength. There's no way I thought I could stand here and do this. Never. But it's even not that. No, it's not that hard. It's not. There's so much love in this room. This isn't on the page, just so you know that. I don't know. He was amazing. So we must be strong. We must be strong like David and keep his spirit alive with our strength. I will push forward and make him proud. I'll try to be more like David in a lot of ways. I need to thank the angels that are David and April's friends, my new family. It is incomprehensible what happened with the love and support shown. Nothing short of amazing. Staying up all night was nothing, and that was nothing for you guys. It was everything. And I just can't say enough. And I'd like to thank all of my mom's friends too, and our whole support group. People are amazing. And the strength that comes from the people around you is really what keeps us strong. And I don't even know what the hell I am. It's nuts. Whatever. Who cares? We've known half of you since birth, basically. And if not, it's close enough. I need to thank my friends, who I feel like I've known since birth, who helped me stay strong and go through this. And then the three strongest women on the planet: my mom, and April, and Andrea. We're going to make it through this. I'll be here. Gilly's going to be here. Our whole family's going to be here. Gilly's a rock. He's been here in every way. You are such a good man. You have the biggest heart. You are so kind. I blew a bubble. I need that. It's in your purse. Is there a speaker there too? This is cool. Life is crazy. There's a song that my kids love and I love. It's probably my favorite song in the world. I'm not set up. I'm going to need to find it. It won't take me too long. But this is unbelievable. It's just an iPod, but David thinks it's the best thing on the planet. I'm just going to play just a piece of it, just so everyone can cry extra. I heard it over at David's house, and it kind of threw me for a loop, because I think I listen to this all the time when I'm in a place that I want to be happy. And my kids listen to it all the time, and they go to sleep to it a lot, and I don't know. It's just an important song to me.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun.
I don't know if you want to hear more, but I think you get it.
By my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry.
So we should all feel that way. And they also say that when you hear a bell, an angel gets their wings, and so.
You shouldn't look anyway.
It says, I love how you love me.
That's a good title for a song. David. Not the kid.
No! Oh, no!
David, that's not fair.
You're right. I'll turn it off right away.
Okay, yeah.
You
that's
look
been a
so
long
good.
time. Thank you. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Hi.
So face the mirror. So that was pretty funny, huh, Patty?
Really funny.
What do you think, Heather? How funny was
It
it?
was hilarious.
So
I
funny.
can't stop laughing. I can't eat now.
I'm rolling.
Dad, what do you think about that? Wasn't that funny?
It looked like
It's a great armpit. Oh.
All right, here we go.
Oh, okay. Here it is again.
All right,
For
now
those
we
of
have
you
to
at home
start.
who missed it, okay. See, Stanley's here, and then right, okay.
And then I had to relax it.
And you had to relax.
Oh,
I guess you had to be there.
What a crazy family.
David's life was filled with music. He played it, and he inspired it. Our next presenters were nominated for their first Spancy at David's 40th birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cookie Spancer and the Cookie Spancettes.
So you met Marilyn. This is Altie. I'm Barbara. We're Cookie's non-blood sisters and growing up friends. And we are singing a song together that Cookie wrote for and performed at David's 40th birthday with a little amendment. And there's a chorus that's going to be familiar. I was just thinking we've actually been friends since this TV show was popular, which is very scary, since it's called Davy Crockett, and I'm sure some of you may have come across it from the Stone Age. So we are going to sing this, and there's a chorus that's easy to learn. So after you hear the first one, please join us. 1, 2, 3. Born in New York in 1968, a precious boy Mike and Cookie did create. Labor was hard, we won't exaggerate. He took 12 hours to leave the starting gate. David Spancer, king of the wild idea. His hair was blonde and his eyes were blue. We knew early on he had a high IQ. By 4 he was reading, playing piano too, and guessed Colonel Mustard in the hall playing Clue. David Spancer, king of the wild idea. Gifted in math and photography, stunned us all with creative artistry. Everyone anticipated what he would be. None thought he'd join a mad science ministry. David Spancer, king of the wild idea. Now we gather to celebrate his life, a life well lived with his most amazing wife. David is adored for his joie de vie, our magical David, king of comedy. David Spancer, king of the wild idea.
Spancer Palooza, a grief-tacular sorrowbration, will return with more laughs and grief after these messages from our sponsors.
Wendy's presents hot and juicy hamburgers. If you've ever had a dry, chewy hamburger, you're gonna love Wendy's hot and juicy hamburgers. Wendy's hot and juicy hamburgers. Juicy meat, juicy toppings, and lots of napkins.
Everyone knows there's no smoother path to fame than that of the child star. Here to talk about the younger years of David Spancer is 4-time Spancy Award winner Michelle White.
I am so honored to be accepting this award on behalf of David, who I know would love to be here. There will be many awards today, some for much bigger and more exciting works, but I am grateful to have had a small role in this award. I had the good fortune to grow up with David and to spend every year of school with him from 4th grade through UCLA. My family lived only a few blocks from Cookie, Mike, David, and Stanley's house. The Spancer house was where we neighborhood kids met to walk to the school bus, where we celebrated Halloween Cookie style, where we played with the pinball machine and ate candy from the vending machine, and where we danced the conga line around the pool. It was also where we celebrated David's New York-themed bar mitzvah, complete with David as the fiddler on the roof. That night, we danced the time warp around the pool, each of us wearing I Heart New York pins. Before the fun, though, I remember David addressing his bar mitzvah invitations. He was worked up because he wasn't sure what the correct abbreviation was for circle in a street address. He needed to abbreviate it for someone's invitation, and he couldn't find the information anywhere. This was long before the web, of course. He got even more annoyed when he called the post office and they couldn't give him a clear answer. Knowing David, I'm sure that he figured it out and then wrote a hysterical story about it, but that was his attention to detail even then. In his true, authentic style, I think that David, at 9 years old, was very much who David the adult was. He didn't spare criticism. He could be impatient, especially with incompetence. And he was bright and curious and funny and warm and loving. Even as a child, David wasn't afraid to share criticism. I once told him that David Bowie was one of my favorite artists, and he responded without pause that Bowie was a middling, overrated, and outdated musician. And at the height of popularity of Little China Girl, he was still right. That was the thing about David. He knew things even as a kid, things other people didn't know or didn't think about or didn't bother with. And he wasn't afraid to share that knowledge and curiosity, and so people listened. Sometimes that listening could lead us to trouble, like in 5th grade when he convinced a group of us to ditch school just as the bus driver pulled up to the bus stop. David said, "Run," and we ran with the bus driver staring at us from the open door. The other parents agreed with Cookie's suggestion that we all write an essay on responsibility when we were immediately caught, but none of us ever regretted listening to David. Another time, our families were in Tahoe for a skiing trip. The trip had been a bit of a disaster, so much so that Cookie had us write another song, a song my sister and I still remember more than 30 years later. It's a long, long way to Lake Tahoe, we know. One snowy night, David, Stanley, Julie, and I were outside, and David suggested a game of throw snowballs at passing cars. We all thought that was a brilliant idea until one of the snowballs hit a car's windshield and the driver got out and began chasing us. But even as we were running, we were looking to David for the next great idea. That was a David. He was a leader, even when he was a kid with some pimples and an overwhelming interest in Rubik's Cube. David was the first person I knew who owned a computer. He could talk endlessly about it, and I'm still convinced that he knew more than Bill Gates and Steve Jobs combined. I remember several mornings at his house waiting to leave for school, while he and Cookie huddled frantically over that strange new machine to finish some project due that very day. Even then, David knew how to push a deadline and how to enlist plenty of willing support to get things done. Nowadays, our Van Nuys neighborhood is called Valley Glen, and kids don't ride bikes all over like we did. But our childhood was spent riding everywhere, and even on a bike, as Stanley said, David had an incredible sense of direction and knew the best shortcuts to fun and adventure. One of our frequent destinations was Fashion Square. A group of us would congregate on the bridge, which now links Bloomingdale's to the parking lot, and we would play our version of Spin the Bottle. We brilliantly called the game Bridges. David was always precocious, and I'm here to tell you that included being an excellent kisser at the age of 12. David was a ladies' man even then, and so was Stanley. When Stanley and my sister began dating at the advanced age of 11, Cookie took Julie aside to show her the family china and silver. She opened cabinet after cabinet saying, "All this will be yours when you marry Stanley." Later, she suggested a double wedding with Julie and me splitting the Spancer heirlooms. David and Stanley were smarter than that, though, and found their true loves in April and in Andrea. An old friend, Tara, recalled that she asked David to marry her in 2nd grade. Years later, David wrote in her yearbook, "Hey, Tara, you were the first person who ever wanted to marry me. I think it worked out for the best, though. Realistically, I don't think I was ready to support a family at the age of 8. That was David, funny at the earliest of ages. In 7th grade at Maclay Junior High School in the bowels of Pacoima, David was the one who led the improv group. He rewrote the words to Queen's "Another One Bites the Dust" and got us all singing the immortal words, "Another one rides the bus." David recently said to me, "I'll always have a lot of friends. That's just the way I am." It was the way he always was. The amount of people here today testifies to that. The amount of people here, spanning back decades, testifies to the power of those friendships. Several childhood friends posted stories about how welcome David made them feel years ago when they were the new kid in class. That is so David, welcoming the new person with a smile, a joke, a story. That same warmth that David extended to friends was part of who David was as a son and as a brother. David would be huddled over his computer while Stanley was outside throwing a baseball, but the closeness and love between them was always clear. David said to me recently, "I don't want to live half a life." What is so clear, though, is that although it was far, far too short, David lived a life of amazing creativity, humor, energy, integrity, irreverence, authenticity, friendship, kindness, laughter, and love. Thank you.
High school, the crucible where crushes are born, collars are popped, destinies are set. Our next presenters have all won their own Spancies for Best Supporting Actor in a High School Drama. Straight to you from the locker room of yesteryear, we bring you Tony Sokolowski, David Seaver, and Steve Machado.
Hopefully that works. I think Dave understood a couple of things a lot earlier than many of us do, and certainly than I did growing up with him and going to high school. First, he understood the most fun and the most satisfaction you can get out of life is by making other people, and especially the people you love, a lot of the people in this room, happy. And to do that by making them laugh. And all of you who were lucky enough to know Dave knew he was willing to put in however much effort it would take to get that laugh out of you and to make sure you were happy. You know, even if it meant making a fool out of himself, which he did fairly routinely, even if he had to drag his slacker idiot friends along by their slacker idiot ears, if that was necessary, he was going to do it. He didn't care if it wasn't going to look cool temporarily. He just wanted to make sure other people were happy. So that's one of the things that I think he understood first. Thing two is that he really, I feel, understood at a very early age that the world is an enormous and an amazing place. And that's kind of a trite expression. Amazing might not be the right word. You know, fascinating, just kind of, you know, interesting and odd and jaw-dropping and funny. And sometimes it was just a matter of looking closely enough or maybe shifting your perspective a little bit, and he would bring you along with him. When we were like, I think 15 or 16, Dave, Tony, and I went to Vancouver, Canada. There was a World's Fair going on in like 85 or something. And yeah, Steve wasn't invited. And at the time, I don't know if they still have this national dessert, but at the time, one of the big things that was advertised all over town was a dessert called hot honey balls. Now, you know, we were 15, right? So hot honey balls is pretty good, and most of us would just laugh about it, maybe find the smallest member, the shortest person in our group, name him Hot Honey Balls because he might not take a swing at us, and that would kind of be the end of it. But Dave was just fascinated by this, and we spent the day going all over town, all over this World's Fair, trying to find a sign that said Hot Honey Balls, and we found dozens of them. Each time we'd stop and take a picture, and Dave would be in that picture. But sometimes, you know, it might just be Dave right next to the sign with his, you know, waving or smiling. Other times, maybe just put his shoe next to a sign and walk away, or maybe, you know, his hand would be covering part of it, or he'd be like 3 blocks in the background. And you'd have to look really closely with the magnifying glass, and just past that Hot Honey Balls, maybe the S, oh yeah, there's Dave. And, you know, that was just the kind of joy he brought to everyone's life. You know, he appreciated the things that a lot of us just pass over. And anyone who knew him well And I know I've had this experience so many times over the years. You see something kind of odd or unusual or funny, and you think, God damn, you know who'd love this? David Spancer. I got to tell Dave Spancer about this. Get a camera, or I'm going to call him right now. And I just can't believe that I'm not going to be able to call him or send him a picture of it. And so I'm just going to choose not to believe that, and I'm going to find a way to tell him or get that message to him somehow. So.
Yep, so that was it. So a big part of high school for us was hanging out with David in our small group, always looking to make our own fun and looking for misadventure. Everything was about being funny, zany, kooky, frugal. We spent all of our free time together and some of our class time riffing endlessly on something that we found funny, and it, surprise, took the form of impromptu sketches often and little plays that we would make up for ourselves in the spirit of Saturday Night Live or Monty Python. And for us, it was it was about entertaining ourselves and having a good time. But David, and this will sound completely out of character, was the guy that would always take it to the next level. He wanted to make it real. He wanted to write it down, draw it, design 3,000 logos, and put a logo on it. If David loved it, it was the best ever, and he was all in. One story along these lines is we were driving home from somewhere. We were in 2 cars on the freeway, and David, the driver in one car, noticed that both cars were singing along with the same song, and it was Don McLean's American Pie. So if you guys know that one, it's super long and lots of great verses, and if you knew them all, it was a point of pride. And Dave noticed it, and I think any of us would probably wait till we got home and said, oh, cool, we were listening to the same song. But somehow Dave managed to pull us both off the freeway, find a parking lot, get out of the car, blast the stereos, and then we were singing the song, And I love that because the vision of looking over at David, at that moment, and I don't even think I can do it, but when he loved something, he could put his arm around the whole world, and he would just be, it's the best ever. And in that same spirit of making really cool things happen and putting them out in the world, we submit the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll. Yeah, sorry. Okay, good. Okay. In high school, there were a lot of clubs. Dave's entry into that world was almost a piece of performance art. He wanted to create a club that was dedicated to absolutely nothing. And again, for us, it was just another riff on something that we would do. But the essence of David Spancer is that before any of us knew it, we had an actual club. We had our calculus teacher as a sponsor, and we had the school auditorium booked for our first meeting. And we showed up with some silly shit, and we looked out, and the audience was packed. And that was pretty much it. By the third meeting, it was just us again. But it was thrilling for that one little bit. And we actually found the bylaws to the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll, and Steve's going to read just a small portion.
It's hard not to read all of this. Oh, he got more wings. Yeah, that's the other wing. Now he's got 2 wings. The Constitution of the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll, Alpha Chapter. We, the people of the San Fernando Valley East Side, in order to protect what we feel to be the last sacred entity in this sinful, perverse society known as our Earth, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll. This organization will attempt in its small, meager way to carry out its divine mission, said mission being to perform all of the following with vigor and dignity. To stand valiantly for those chlorophylls that cannot stand for themselves. To risk personal injury in an effort to rid the planet of those who would willfully eradicate that most noble of all God's creations, chlorophyll. And to raise the consciousness of that base and wicked assemblage known as mankind. Article 1. Name. This organization, whose divine purpose has heretofore been stated, is decreed by God to be known officially as the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll, to be spoken of by the populace as simply the Defenders of Chlorophyll, and to be recognized by world governments as the Royal Order, as seen on TV. Article 2, membership. Membership qualifications for entry into our humble establishment are the following. 1, members must appreciate chlorophyll in its raw, unrefined form. 2, members must like green, but not too much. 3, members must be over 13.4 years of age and must be capable of one or more of the 5 known senses. 4, members must pledge the order with grace, pride, and dignity. I'll skip to Article 3, officers. The officers of the Royal Order of the Defenders of Chlorophyll shall be referred to by their God-given names. Our president shall be called Rufus. Our vice president shall be called Marjorie. Our secretary shall be called Guy. And our treasurer shall be called Gustav. The holder of the office of town crier / village idiot shall be called Desiree. Except for the mention of this office in the Constitution, the office of Desiree shall be ignored. All offices shall be held for a term of approximately 5 weeks, the actual length based on the issuance of progress reports. Opportunities for re-election are unlimited unless God wills otherwise. And so on, and so on.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was beautiful, right? And it fizzled out equally as beautifully. But we did get a couple more things out of the game. We got some membership dues, which I think if any of you paid them, Dave Seaver has refunds for you here. And we got a photo in the yearbook, which was awesome because it was the biggest club in the school, I think, that year, and that was impressive. And we got a float in the homecoming day parade, which was, of course, Dave's rust-colored Volvo and a sign, and somebody on top with an umbrella, and I think we were throwing some balloons and stuff out of the thing. It was beautiful. And next up, college.
That's not your
From the hallowed halls of youth.
We have a lot of cabinet space, as you can see. Yeah. This is our dishwasher here. His name's Jose. He stands here and he washes the dishes.
Oh, I see that he's not in today.
No, he's not here today.
Oh.
Cabinets, you know.
He just stands here. There's plenty of headroom here, I guess, for him.
Sure, he's not that tall, but it's not bad.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Steve.
Are you focused? It's auto, ain't it?
Yeah, it's auto.
Okay, we're starting a video, though. Whoa! That's
that?
only distorting to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get that off of there. Like this?
Yeah.
It was perfect. Now it's perfect. Okay. Okay, now that we wasted all that time, should we just rewind and start over?
I'm sorry about that, folks.
This will all be edited out. That's that Dave Letterman joke. Where do you think we're going, Dave?
Just another day in Berkeley, California, walking the streets,
Wow.
hanging out, talking to the locals. Look over there. See that steeple kind of thing?
Yeah.
Ow, 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 this dog is eating me. Help, ow, ow.
Well, I'm sure they can see them.
I'm a natural artist.
Oh, yeah. See that, Elaine? He's natural.
I'm all natural.
Because he's stark naked. Dave just took off all his clothes.
Wow,
Really
look at my wee-wee.
Rudy the Wonder Dog. Rudy Wonder Dog. And hot dog. That's
Dave Lewis. This is the worst picture I've ever seen in my life. Oh, piece of shit! Hey, Rudy Wonder Dog.
What's up, Professor Spancer? Came to see how I did on my paper.
Shit. Here, Rudy, kill him. Get out of here, man. I really wanted a dog to kill you.
From the hallowed halls of youth, we take you now to the rolling hills of the University of California, Los Angeles, where our next three presenters won their first 17 Spancies for Best Supporting Actor in a College Drama. Introducing Tony Sokolowski, David Seaver, and Steve Machado.
All right. I haven't read the program. I haven't read all of the program, but if you have to say my name again, it's Machado.
Got it.
It's not about me. I know that. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so the adventure fun just continued. We went to UCLA together, and man, did we have fun. We went to a lot of parties, but more importantly, we were a party. We were the pre-party, the post-party, and more often than not, we were the main party itself. When you were around David Spancer, you didn't look for fun. You reveled in the fact that you were automatically in the fun. Finish a final, find Dave Spancer. What to do for spring break? Dave has already planned our road trip. There was never a boring moment with Dave. As always, Dave was the instigator. He was the engine that drove our fun. We took countless road trips and made excursions to buildings on our own campus and campuses all over the Southwest. Letting ourselves into locked rooms, condemned buildings, new buildings under construction, boardrooms in administration buildings, even secret underground tunnels. Were these crimes? Maybe. Were we hurting anyone? Nope. So, we were okay with this moral way of living on the civil fringe. David embodied the ethic of living above the law when the law seemed unnecessary. Another aspect of David is that even though it seemed to us like he was spending all his free time with his core friends, somehow he was always cultivating other friendships that we hardly knew anything about. He always had 3 times more friends than I or anyone I knew had. Networking was second nature to David, not as a means to an end, but because he liked people, especially creative people.
And meanwhile, while we were having all this said fun, David was again taking his ambitions to the next level. He went to UCLA specifically and adamantly to be a part of the motion picture television department. That was what he dreamed of. That's what we talked about. It was a done deal. And you couldn't apply to the major until your junior year. So everything was a build-up to that. And a testament to Dave's self-motivation and his trust, really, that everything was going to work out, was that when he didn't get in officially at that sort of junior year mark, he found a way to get in the classes anyway, and he just completed the major, made it all happen.
And actually, that was one of the greatest things to see with college-age Dave Spancer. Steve Machado briefly alluded to some of the good times we had in college and some of the altered states of consciousness we'd sometimes find ourselves in, and that was Dave. That was the Dave we started at school with, and that was the Dave we knew. But once he found his passion at UCLA, all of a sudden we'd still see Dave, our Dave, spring break Dave, post finals Dave. And then the next day, I'd go visit him on a set somewhere on campus, and he's in charge, and he's directing cast members and crew. He's got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment entrusted to him. What happened to the Dave I saw yesterday? This guy's in charge. And it was really an amazing thing. He hadn't changed, he hadn't transformed. It wasn't a new Dave. It was just Dave. He just added to his game. And it was really a really fun thing to watch. And we just want to thank everyone for giving us the chance to talk about Dave a little bit today. Thank you.
Steve Macadilio, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the beginning of my video journal. It's 11:56, January 20th, 1993, and the first day of Bill Clinton's administration. The MTV inaugural gala is on right now. I was going to show you a little clip of the inauguration earlier, but I'm taping this, even though some stupid butt-fuck band is playing. But I'm taping it anyway, because I tape things. But, oh, it's this song. Well, you probably know this song, or maybe you don't. This is the instrumental part of it. Did I disappoint you? Leave a bad taste in your mouth. Okay, well, so, you know, President Bill Clinton, as of today, just, you know, before noon today, he was President-elect Bill Clinton. This is all really cool, you know, Bush, the whole Bush thing, and Reagan and Bush is all gone, and nothing. This is good. This is very good. So, I hope everything goes well. What's going on with my life? Well, let's see. Big things. It's my last quarter of UCLA. Oh, what else? Steve Machado's in China. Just got a tape from him. And Rudy, come here. Of course, you know Rudy probably. Come here, Rudy. This is Rudy the dog. Give me a kiss. Another one. Give me a kiss. Hey. Well, she tried. I've been just wasting a lot of this tape, not doing stupid things, but that's probably, you know, the way the whole video diary thing is going to go, because, you know, I've never done this kind of thing before. Well, you know, big things, big things. My father died, you know, a month ago on December 16th. That's the biggest thing. And having dinner at home tomorrow night with my brother and my mom, and gonna have baked ziti. And I don't know what else.
It wouldn't be the Spancies without an awkward juxtaposition of two former lovers. The David Spancer rap will now be presented by Bill Sandoval, Heather Havrileski, Barry Langer, and Kelly Atkins. For increased awkwardness, you guess which two.
Well, oh, I'm definitely one of them. We're here to salute David Spancer. A plastic kazoo in our hands. He finally has all the answers. And Steve Jobs thinks he's the man. You can't always use the right font. You can't always use the right font. You can't always use the right font. But if you try sometimes, you just might find Times Alphabetical Calibri. David Spancer, David Spancer.
Yo, Spancer!
How could you leave us now? We're reeling, feeling feelings about your final bow.
Before you laugh and reminisce with your dear old dad,
We're gonna tell this crowd about the life you had.
The day you were born was filled with much joy. Your mom's called you yummy, but you look like a goy.
You were an Aryan type with blonde hair and baby blues.
Born to Cookie and Mike, a pair of hardcore Jews. You love the Rubik's and the Shrinky. Taught to read by Electric Company.
Cruising on your big wheel and your green machine. Dropping mad rhymes like Shel Silverstein.
When you took music lessons, you found your niche.
That's right, bitch, I
got perfect pitch.
Spancer was a geek, that's something no one denies. He had the blueprints to the Starship Enterprise.
Little boy D, you had a crush on Spock. Vulcan love got the shove when you discovered your...
Click, clack, smick, smack, he hit the Radio Shack. Walked out with the first PC in his backpack.
Fine and dandy, slow but handy. Sweet like candy, made by Tandy.
Spent your early years with the TRS-80, made in Nagasaki by some Japanese lady.
No joke, my boy Spancy was a geek to the core.
He was a whore for the Commodore 64.
He had the Apple IIe.
He had the Apple IIc.
He had the classic.
The Centrist.
And the Quadra AV.
He went to UCLA, yo, to fill up his head.
Found nitrous and weed and girlies instead.
He took all the fun and he skipped the knowledge.
There's a time and a place for everything.
That's college.
Down in the valley, D crashed his bike.
When a car ran a red and his ass got spiked.
Damn, that smarts and it sure does sting. I should have left the house in my V-dub thing.
Easy come, easy go, little high, little low.
He dated in April way back in high school, a defender of chlorophyll. She thought he was cool.
They both moved on to get their kickity kicks, but he had a taste for Aprils and he needed a fix.
Not March, not May, not July, not June. He needed an April and he needed a soon.
So he went online, he searched high and low.
For a big-hearted girl with a butt like J-Lo.
Met an April named Lunston, lit him like tungsten. Top of the heap, the very best amongst them. April 1 got the rack.
April 2 got the trunk.
Put them both together, now that's one fine month.
He's got an April fetish, that's just his way.
In fact, he's a founder of April Fool's Day.
He writes.
He shoots.
He directs.
He edits.
When it comes to sitcoms, my man's got the credits.
He speaks in tongues, he's got a little lisp. He's all about Obama and he hates Bill Frith.
Watching Fox News just to go against the grain.
Then back to Terry Gross just to numb the pain.
Fancy, spunky, you think you're so funky.
But you ain't nothing but a politics junkie.
Laughing at the Daily Show with your beautiful boo.
Or rolling down the street with your geeky ass crew.
Team Mouse in the house with their non-stop skits and their white lab coats and their angry fits.
They were blowing stuff up like they had no choice.
Gesturing and stomping and using the voice.
Science is fun when you're smoking the crack.
Look, everybody, a giant nutsack.
Minister of nothing.
Head full of stuffing.
You said you were fat, but we knew you was bluffing.
I'm your private Spancer. Spancer for money. Do what you want me to do.
Hey, Spancer, you're leaving us in pain.
We'll miss your very big mouth.
We'll miss your very big brain.
We'll miss the way you laugh.
We'll miss the way you complain.
But now you're flying first class on God's private plane.
Now that you've arrived in the afterlife,
you're free of cheese nips and you're free of strife.
You're packing bongs with jobs.
You're playing pong with God.
You're hooking up the speakers to the golden iPod. We'll be together again before it's too late.
So meet us with a hookah at the pearly gates.
Hold me closer, tiny Spancer. Count the people at your wake.
Hold me closer, tiny Spancer.
With those glasses you wore fake. Everyone, hold me closer, tiny Spancer. Count the people at your wake. Hold me closer, tiny Spancer. Were those glasses you wore fake?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing. Here, I'm going to turn this off now because I have nothing.
I got something.
All right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Back around to us.
Congratulations, you guys.
I'm really happy.
This was really just
We were really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You are LL Suave.
That's right.
Do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Get down tonight.
All the assorted family, including you, David.
Yeah, everybody looks great. Oh, like Chili does. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. We'll send you the dry cleaning bill.
The assorted part of that.
I was really trying to do something clever. It was going to be this. Cheers.
We saw you working.
Hey.
All right, here.
Well, hey, here's the good thing. I didn't stop taping, so when you want to send me the dry cleaning bill, you can reference my videotaping.
I'm the original gangster rapper. I am a fat, deaf motherfucker. Cause shit is what makes you who you are. And if you don't deal with the shit, you don't become who you are, you know what I'm saying? So that's what makes you who you are, you know what I'm saying? You're right, so, don't
The Best Writing Award will be presented tonight by two of David's colleagues from the tender-hearted and humane field of television writing. Please welcome Jack Herguth and Kristen Newman.
Hi, there's more of us. Jack, do you want to go first, or do you want us to go first? All right. So I'm Kristen Newman, and this is Alan Dibner, and this is Mark Hudis, and we all were writers on that 70s show for 1,000 years, and we got to have David with us for the last 3. And we spent 1 million hours together, and David was never in a bad mood for a moment of any of them. He was always calm, no matter what happened. He was always funny. He was always up. And he wrote a great episode that was, I think, Laura Prepron's favorite, one of our actresses. Of the 220 that we made, I think that David's, she says, was his favorite. And yeah, here's a few little stories that we have of him on that 70s show.
We played a lot of Quake. We actually played more Quake than we did writing. And for those of you who don't know what Quake is, it's a first-person shooter. And we networked. In fact, David networked everybody together. So if you thought that 70s show was not as funny as it should have been, that's because we played video games. And everybody had a little nickname. So my name was Rancid Nancy, and I think Alan's was Dookie Monster. And David, who was so funny, his nickname was Whitey, which I always found a little, I thought it was bland. I never understood why he picked Whitey, he's such a funny guy, until you realize when you're in the heat of battle and screaming, you know, you're like, get Rancid Nancy. Of course, you go, kill Whitey. Which was genius, and it only occurred to me like 6 years after we had played how genius it was. And one other fast story that it was just such a, we had a writer on staff who was he was a pain in the ass, but he was also the boss. He was very prickly. He was a sour pickle is what he was. And we got these new Herman Miller chairs, and they were beautiful, but, you know, had levers and they raised and lowered in the backs. And this writer, who was the boss, just couldn't figure out how to raise, and he was constantly saying, I can't raise my chair, I can't lower it, I can't put the back, and he constantly was sort of aiming this at Spancer, as if it were Spancer's fault, that Spancer didn't buy the chair. So one day we all went to run through, and we came back, and David had put together a bound packet, and in beautiful, bold type on the front, it said, sitting a manual. And it was the greatest moment of 70s show lore, and it belongs to Dave Spancer. And so here's Dibby to give you some more Spancer.
While you all know Spancer is great with video and editing, as we've seen in filming, there was an additional artistic medium where he shined, and that was in making stickers. During the 2004 election, Spancer created these perfect replicas of those little stickers you get at your local polling place that say, I voted. Except Spancer changed it so the stickers all read, I farted. Which many of us then wore that day to show our great pride over the re-election of George W. Bush. And there was also one time, one of our writers managed to take a very goofy picture of me, if you can believe it. Mark Hudis took it on his little camera phone, and Spancer quickly offered to make stickers of it with my face on it, and he made dozens and dozens of them, which were then posted daily on the calendar in the writer's room, so that by the end of the year there were about 100 of them, my little goofy stickers. So, well played, Spancer.
It's particularly funny because Alan is the last person in the world who would want his face anywhere, let alone like hundreds of them, blocking out the days to say that the day had gone. One of, I think, Spancer's crowning achievements in making downtime fun came with the men's bathroom. So there was an 8-year running gag. The big empty water bottles for the water cooler were stored in the men's bathroom, and so it became a thing for the guys to organize the bottles on the inside of the bathroom door such that when, or sometimes on top of the door, such that when you opened the door to go in the bathroom, it would fall and make this loudest, like, clanking thing. And they would have to squeeze their bodies out, and sometimes they'd pile 2 or 3 of them. It became like an art form to make this big, noisy clatter when you went into the bathroom. But David obviously upped that joke, both with funny and also with an incredible amount of technology and time and just an incredible amount of labor for what was a very long, like, 2-minute laugh. So David, when we're all in the room working one day and somebody goes into the bathroom, and I think that the cue, we found this sound effect. He kept it all these years. This is what was suddenly heard when this person walked into the bathroom.
been like 5 years. That was really funnier than I even remembered it. It's a really funny thing to have happen when you're trying to work. Anyway, he was a wonderful experience always, and so talented, and we will always remember him and love him so much.
By the way, I didn't look at the program either, but my last name is pronounced Machado. I also had the pleasure of going to film school with David at UCLA, but I also had the added pleasure of working with him on a show called Double Rush, which was a short-lived CBS TV show back in 1994 that I think ran 7 episodes about bike messengers in New York. I don't know why it didn't go more than 100 episodes, but you'd think. Even though the show only ran 1 year and we only got to work together for a couple of months, I always look fondly back at that show because I was able to spend a lot of quality time with David. As writer's assistants, David and I were always responsible for taking notes in the writer's room, implementing those changes into a computer, and then making sure all those changes got printed out in a script, and that script got distributed to all the writers, cast and crew members, and all the network executives. We also had a lot of many late-night writing sessions where we had to stay in the room, where we always were burned out and tired. I remember I was sitting outside at my desk, and David was in the writer's room with all the writers. And he came out after a while and sat down on his computer, and he, for whatever reason, there was all this joy. You know, he was super tired, but I could tell there was something else going on. I was like, David, what's going on? It's like, oh, dude, I just took a Xanax. He goes, it's great. You need to try it. I was like, all right, what the fuck? We're all in the writer's room. Let's try it. So we both took a Xanax pill, and I don't think that script ever got out that night. We got into a lot of trouble, I think. So, and I remember Cookie used to show up a lot with treats for all of us. So thank you, Cookie, for all those amazing treats. I still can taste them today. David and I also had a lot of downtime when no one was writing. We would sit around and try to crack each other up and make jokes. And there was this dry erase board in the office that was put up there for God knows what, but it was always blank. And we decided one day just to amuse ourselves and make a list. Like, this will be fun. This is just for you and me, but whatever. So we made a list, and we wrote at the top of it, people we love. And we filled that list full of C and D list celebrities like Jim J. Bullock, Morgan Fairchild, and Dirk Benedict. But for some reason, we had Tom Wopat from the Dukes of Hazzard at the top of that list. Surprisingly to me and David, that list got a huge response within the office. So we did a couple of more lists of people we love. And Tom Wopat was always at the top of the list. We even toyed with putting him at number 2 one time, but it just didn't seem right. This was Tom fucking Wopat we were talking about. As a side note, Tom Wopat had a bit of a career resurgence around that time, and David and I were convinced that our lists had something to do with it. So Tom, if you're out there and you're watching, you're welcome. Pretty soon, people in the office began to look forward to these lists. So David and I graduated from the people we love lists to things we love. For example, we had things we love like swashbucklers, nougat, lanyards, and gravity. These stupid lists became so popular, we got all of our coworkers involved, and pretty soon they were contributing their own ideas to all these lists. So soon we were going from random lists to very specific things, like fabulous party games. A list of fabulous party games included Name That Liquid, toss the midget, and blind your friends. There was also a list we came up with: bad sandwiches, the phlegm, pus, semen, and tomato sandwich, fish and lint. And 17 years later, this still remains my Spancer favorite that he came up with: naked, chopped up, dead 2-year-old girl orphans with the crust cut off. Just genius. There were also new names for the Wonder Bra, like "Gee, your boobs look terrific," "Tit Holster 2000," and the two-breast combo. There was also a list of dolls or action figures that for some reason just never took off, like Baby Shits His Pants, Commander Penis, and Menstruating Barbie. And finally, there were some failed Saturday morning kids shows: The Cosby Kids in Harlem, Antisocial Fat Girls, Report Your Gay Friends, and Incestuous Family on the Prairie. But like all good things, the show surprisingly got canceled. The job came to an end. But surprisingly to me and to David, I think these lists have sort of taken on a life of their own. And I remember a couple years ago, my wife and I were moving to a new house, and I came across some boxes, and in this box was all these lists that I had kept for 15 years. And I remember thinking, I need to put these into my computer and scan them so I'd never lose these, which I did. And then recently, when David got sick, I wanted to go visit him and take these lists and, read them to him, and we'd have a good time. But I lost them and I couldn't find them. So I remember a few months back, David emailed me or Facebooked me, and he goes, "You know what's crazy? Is this girl, Kari Handler, who we used to work with, who was a script supervisor on the show. She's kept all of these lists." So I emailed her and told her what was happening with David, and I wanted to go over to her house, to his house. And she, unfortunately, she was away at the time and didn't get them to me when I was going to see David. So I missed out on that opportunity. But thank God for this Facebook page and his group page, because I felt, well, if I can't go over and see David right now, at least I can post these lists on the Facebook page, and hopefully he'll hear them and read them and laugh, and hopefully everyone else on this page will get a good laugh as well. I know David thought these lists were pretty stupid. They were just between him and me, just to give ourselves a laugh. But it's amazing, and I think to him and me, again, like I said, is these lists have continue to make people laugh, even new audiences, which is great. The Friday before David passed away, he called me to say goodbye, and it was a real hard conversation for the both of us, but we were able to tell each other what we needed to say, and I'm really happy about that. But before I hung up, he said, "Wait a second, there's just some things that I've done in my life that I've never told anyone about, and no one knows them, and I want to tell you about them now." And I said, "Well, why is that?" And he goes, "Well, I think it would make a good list." So here I have the last list. This isn't real, by the way. I made it up, so just that part was fake. But here we go. Here's David's confessions. For the last 13 months, he was Charlie Sheen's personal advisor. His real last name is Seacrest. He used to pee in the hot tub. He took several long showers with Jerry Sandusky. Rough, tough room here. He was an original solid gold dancer. He staged the bike accident so he could have plastic surgery just like his best friends Liz Taylor and Michael Jackson. He and Joan Rivers used to sext each other on a daily basis. During intimate times, he would ask April to call him Jar Jar. He used to get a boner every time he watched The View. At certain Hollywood parties, he would introduce himself as David Kardashian. He ordered the hits on rappers Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. He wrote and directed the highly successful porn film Everybody Does Raymond. He had a brief but successful career as a Richard Simmons impersonator. He was the original voice of Siri. He originally thought that Burning Man was a musical about Richard Pryor. Once during a job interview, he tried to pass himself off as Tori Spelling. He loved the prequels. He once considered getting breast implants. He owned the entire Lord of the Rings dildo collection except for Gandalf. He's Canadian. He thought Justin Bieber had a lovely head of hair. He won his car, The Thing, in a card game with Lando Calrissian. He was ABC's first choice to replace Regis. He only did that Wendy's commercial for the free refills. He cheated at the grilled cheese invitational. In 1999, he tried to have his name legally changed to Anakin. He had a threesome with B. Arthur and Betty White. He also had another threesome with Nell Carter and Shirley Hemphill. He thought the Rainbow Connection was about a gay drug dealer. He wrote a series of erotica for women under the pen name Stacy Vulva. And finally, he never inhaled. All right, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with deep, heartfelt regret that we must report some bad news. Moments ago, we learned that Gloria Estefan and Boz Scaggs have canceled their duet. Graciously agreeing to take their place are David's beloved friends, Linda Williamson and Joshua Joy Kamensky, with the Spancy-nominated song, They Can't Take That Away From Me.
Check. Is this on? light. They can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me.
Oh, hi. My name's Eric, and I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight, but I love April and David, and I had the honor in 2002 of being asked to officiate their wedding in a Willy Wonka outfit. And believe it or not, it all made sense. In fact, if you know April and David, you know it made the most beautiful possible kind of sense. I knew April before I knew David, so when he started dating her, we all, were a little concerned. But we got to know him, and it has been my honor to know one of the most unique and beautifully brilliant people on this earth. David directed all the videos we ever did for the Ministry of Unknown Science, except for the ones he didn't direct, but he directed all the rest of them. And he was with us at things like Burning Man. He brought just a unique presence to our lives that we are blessed to have known. So at the wedding, it's completely understandable that someone would be dressed as Willy Wonka. And there would also be Renaissance players and scientists and people in 1920s cocktail outfits, and that the entire ceremony would be blessed by over 100 giggle hammers. This means giggle hammer when I do that. Also, April and David wrote their own vows, as you expect they would, and April's vows were so moving they brought David to tears, and he almost couldn't read his, which would have been awkward. But here to read them all for you right now is April herself.
Thanks, Eric. And before I get to the vows, I just wanted to thank all of you so much, our friends and our family, for being there for me throughout every difficult and hopeful step. No matter what was happening, I always knew that there was a soft place to fall, a shoulder to cry on, and an army of hope to keep us going. As David said over and over again about the outpouring of love and support, amazing, amazing, amazing. On October 19th, 2002, David and I were married in the foothills of Sierra Madre, just off the 210, which that freeway reference would have been really important to him. It was about this time that day we traded vows, and mine have as much meaning today as they did then, and here they are. When I was 8 years old, I confessed to my grandmother I hoped someday I'd marry a man just like Fonzie. At the time, Fonzie represented everything I thought a man should be. He rode a motorcycle, he wore a leather jacket, and he had a way with words. But most of all, Fonzie was in love with the girl I wanted to be, Pinky Tuscadero. She was tough, independent, foul-mouthed, and she wore pink. And Fonzie loved her anyway. Instead of teasing me, my grandma patted my shoulder and smiled. "You'll find a husband just like Fonzie." When you and I met, David, I had no idea we'd be standing here today. Sure, you were good-looking, funny and nice and smart, and knew how to punctuate sentences and pronounce haricots verts. But we met through the personals. It would never last. However, as we spent more time together, I noticed things about you. You had a leather jacket. Granted, it stayed in the closet most of the time, but you had one. And you had a way with words. An email from you made my whole day. Those well-placed umlauts, commas, and semicolons still make me giddy. Okay, so you didn't ride a motorcycle, but I was over that anyway. And when, after we realized this was going somewhere and decided to move in together, we found the Fonzie plaque in your mom's garage that as a kid you'd perfectly painted the jacket, the thumb, the A. I knew you were meant for me. Over these past 6 years, some of them the best years of my life, some of them the most trying, I've laughed more, thought more, challenged myself more, created more, wondered more, traveled more, purchased more, and loved more than I ever had before. And it's all because of you, David. You're the most honest, giving, generous, passionate, hilarious, brainiest, compassionate, understanding, incredible person I know. I'm proud to know you, honored to be your best friend, and thrilled to be your girl. Without your unending love and support, I could never pull off being tough, independent, foul-mouthed, dressed in pink. Without you, I could never be me. I love you immensely, David, for all that you are, but I love you even more for all that you make me.
Is there a Holly Larson in the house? Where's the light here? Okay. Hi, I'm Tano. This is Holly. We're very honored to sing this song at David and April's wedding, and it was one of both of their favorite songs and one of ours as well. And we're very honored to sing it again tonight.
I know you belong to somebody new, but tonight you belong to me. Although we're apart, you're a part of my heart, and tonight you belong to me. Way down by the stream, how sweet it would seem once more just to dream in the moonlight. My honey, I know in the dawn that you will be gone, but tonight you belong to me, just a little old me.
What's the point? You're the one. I've known that for 5 years, but just yesterday it really sank in. You're the one, the one. The one without whom I am less of a person. Staring into your eyes this morning, knowing that the next time I saw you would be up here right now, I felt more proud, complete, and sure than I've ever felt in my life. I'm so lucky to be able to be in love with you. You're amazingly beautiful. My heart still stops when I catch your glimpse across a crowded party. I love listening to the songs you serenade our animals with. I love how you love our friends. You're so unselfish, so good. And you love me and you're keeping me. You've taught me that funner is not only a real word, but a vital life goal. April, I will spend the rest of my life trying to live up to being the person that I need to be, the person that you deserve. I left the end blank thinking that some amazing words would come to me when I'm staring into you now. And I just love you, and I'd like to kiss you, so can we get there?
Do call upon the power of the Holy Gigglehammer and vow to support the marriage of April and David in good times and in bad. And during the bad times, I promise I will not tell April she should, quote, dump that loser. Nor tell David he should, quote, get a little on the side. By the power of the Holy Gigglehammer, amen.
And now, many-time winners of the award for Best Misdirection, the Burning Scouts of America, represented by Den Mothers Reb O'Malley and Jessica Moskowitz, and Scoutmaster Mike Lichtenberger.
We had no idea when we wrote this that we would be following such beautiful and tender moments. It makes it hard to stick to this. And so I won't. I'll say I'm here to tell you today about our time together as friends, as Burning Scouts. It was the time in my life when I knew David best and spent the most time with him, and it was undoubtedly one of the happiest times of my life. David was the co-founder and an integral part of our Burning Man camp, and that camp was called the Burning Scouts. Our concept was very, very simple. We were scouting gone terribly, terribly wrong. Overtly dedicated to corruption, immorality, gross self-satisfaction. We weren't interested in doing normal scouting good deeds. On the contrary, our stated goal was to reward socially unacceptable behavior. We did this by bestowing colorful and coveted demerit badges on festival participants who visited us. Badges could be earned either by providing us proof of recent immoral behavior, or alternately by lavishing us with various illicit gifts and favors. But Jessica will tell you more about that. and how we got away with it, and most importantly, the very special role that David played every year in polishing this concept to a sparkling diamond of absurdity. But the Burning Scouts weren't just a ridiculous performance piece that we lived once a week, for 1 week every year in the desert. Rather, it became a shorthand name for a tight-knit circle of friends who were sustained by our shared love of creating fantastic things and experiences together. Our time in the desert was exciting, but it was really only the beginning. It was where we discovered our shared passions for intense adventure, for wide-eyed experimentation, for constant unrelenting banter. It was where we first held hands and shared secrets, and from time to time quietly interchanged our molecules. But most importantly, it was the place where we first realized that as a group, we were greater than the sum of our parts. And we knew that because working together, we were able to create some truly amazing and unforgettable experiences, not just for ourselves, but for packs of random passing strangers. And the realization that working together we could accomplish this changed us profoundly. We became our own band of merry pranksters. Over time, we expanded our festival collaboration into sort of an ongoing year-round partnership for creating wonderful events. We even progressed so far as to writing comedy to be performed at each other's weddings, changing even those sacred days into nothing but boisterous, unforgettable performances. And through it all, David was a central player in this master plan to bring the joy and intensity of our desert experience back into our daily lives. In the true Burning Scout spirit, he constantly drove us to make every event, every project bigger, brighter, funnier, better. Last night I wept as I imagined this event as our final collaboration as a troupe. And then I thought, all good things come to an end, and sometimes really fucking awesome things come to an end. But then I further realized that if we can bring an event like this together, all of us, friends and family, and remember him in this way, then we can keep alive the spirit of David's true role in the Scouts. For his spirit was constantly pushing us to the boundaries of what we were capable of creating when we were together. And from this day forward, I would say that every time a Scoutmaster shall say to another, "Sure, that's funny, but I think we could make it even funnier." Whenever we challenge each other to make any project sparkle, then David Spancer will be there with us in spirit. David Lawrence Spancer, dear friend and loyal Scoutmaster Emeritus, I salute you.
So this part will explain the stickers and why he was so good with them. The project that brought many of us friends together was the Burning Scouts, and part of the Scouts that turned out to be really magical was demerit badges. Based on Boy Scout merit badges, David decided to create demerit badges, little awards, little stickers for doing all the wrong things. Filthy like a truck stop hooker? We had a badge for that. Dumber than a bag of hammers? Way to go, you win. There were even special New Year badges that I believe led to the first known case of ass-specific hypothermia, when a willing gentleman stuck his butt in a freezing stream in order to prove his worth. Now, the badges themselves were, to any rational eye, nothing special. Small stickers printed on paper that, from either total lack of foresight or perhaps just David Spancer-like levels of procrastination, wouldn't stand up to a drip of water, much less a week in the desert. But David spent hours making them look perfect. From the stitching on the edge being just the right color to a tiny picture of dancing elves being just the right imagery to match the state, well, the brain state of the typical spaced-out Burning Man attendee. The backside, pictured on the impressive nudity badge, alone took David hours to find, sorting through ass upon ass on the internet in search of a platonic butt perfection. That effort could have been pointless. Many Burning Man camps are in fact pointless. But no, this was a David Spancer project. And these little stickers were magic. Within a day of setting up our little camp, we knew we had hit gold. Manna rained down from the heavens. in the form of fresh hot pizza, pie, free massages, song, dance, an endless array of entertainment. David's little stickers made us famous. People came from far and wide through dust storms and heat in search of their chance to earn a little piece of sticky paper. More than one Scoutmaster got lucky. This was David's magic. He took a good idea, as we know, and ran with it. He ran so far that any sane person would think this can't possibly be a good idea. But it was, because it was David's idea. In your survival kit, you will find a badge, now a magnet, and a full description by the door of what all those badges mean. Please remember to read your own before sharing with children. And remember, David made everyone earn those badges. On the other hand, all Scoutmasters take bribes. David, wherever you are, I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. You are no Marvin K. Mooney. I didn't want you to go. But wherever you are, I know it's the right place.
The beauty of an Eagle Rock sunset.
Why am I so fascinated by this road thing? I don't know. But I am. Isn't it great?
Let me get you, bro.
Oh, I do.
Come on, because, it's all about you,
Yeah,
bro. You're here. You made the trip. You made the effort.
Yo, I'm here at Burning Man and shit.
Yep.
It's all, like Burning Man and shit. We're on the Rabbit and going on some sort of art tour thing, deal on the Bob. That's art. See, look at that, art. That's not art. There's Ubi.
How do you feel?
The man! I feel really good. It's a great performance. Drinking a beer. I'm on Barzilla. Coming up on your left is the Burning Man sculpture. Hey, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. What's the worst that could happen? There's nothing to think about that. What the hell are you talking about? Every day like it's your last, folks. Extra bonus points for a one-armed hang.
What do you think about all the beautiful expressions around you, with art and the bodies and the kindness?
Yeah, the kindness, the art, the bodies, the beauty. It's all really lost on me because all I really see, is just the money. I'm just here for the money.
The beauty of an Eagle Rock sunset. The phantasmagoric colors of a day at Burning Man. The Spancies have always celebrated the art of the visual. Our award for Best Cinematography comes with a very special presentation. Here with a live painting performance, a paint-formance, if you will, and shouldn't, is artist and photographer Kevin Raleigh.
And these are David Spancer approved pants. In 2002, I had the great honor of being witness to their wedding with a camera. It was a great privilege to have them entrust me with that, and I trust I did well by that. Their wedding was like a gift for us, for all those who were there, because that's what love is. It's not what you feel, it's what you do. And David embodied that love. And it was an honor. And this is an image that is from that wedding. And what I do is, it's like light coming out of the darkness, which is what I think David also taught us. I think our lights are all brighter and shine more clear because of David's love. And Tim was wise in advising me on the music. He says, don't play Sigur Rós and any of your, wrist-slitting crap. Okay, fine. So in many ways, I think David chose this music.
The road is long, with many a winding turn, So on we go. His welfare is my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there. For I know he would not encumber me. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. If I'm laden at all, I'm laden with sadness that everyone's heart isn't filled with the gladness of love for one another. It's a long, long road from which there is no return. While we're on our way to there, why not share? And the Lord doesn't weigh me down at all. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
We spent some time together walking, spent some time just talking about who we were. You held my hand so very tightly and told me what we could be dreaming of. There's nothing like you and I, nothing like you and I. There's nothing like you and I. We spent some time together drinking, spent some time just thinking about days of joy. As our hearts started beating faster, I recalled your laughter from long ago. There's nothing like you and I, nothing like you and I. There's nothing like you and I. We spent some time together crying, spent some time just trying to let each other go. I nothing like you and I.
Thank you, Kevin Raleigh. Can we remove the painting, please? Thank you. And now, the coveted award for Best Director. The nominees are
Think again.
Chuck Serino for the Ministry of Unknown Science. Colin Doty for the Ministry of Unknown Science.
A hairy ballsack.
David Spancer for the Ministry of Unknown
Got a
Science.
really nice one for you. It'll look great here on your wife, trust me.
And finally, Ted Sullivan for the Ministry of Unknown Science. And the award goes to David Spancer. David couldn't be here tonight, so accepting on his behalf, the Ministry of Unknown Science.
Hey.
David Spancer? He's
He's
a
a
dick.
dick.
That guy ruined the ministry. A few years ago, we were the toast of the scientific comedic community. And look at us now.
I'm a freelance prison tattoo artist. It's sad.
I'm the chief sustainability officer for the Klan.
And I'm a fucking U.S. senator. And just look what he did to T.
I'm finally smooth all over.
All because of that damn Spancer passed on our TV pilot and then went on to create 2.5 Men. And then he had the gall to destroy Charlie Sheen's career, too.
Wait, hold on a second. Isn't that Chuck Lorre who did all that?
Wait a minute. You mean Chuck fucking Lorre?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. David Spancer, wait. Wasn't that the guy who directed our videos?
I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy
He's a
too.
great guy.
Yeah.
Isn't Spancer the guy? He's the guy who shot the roll of quarters out of the tip of his penis and straight into a UNICEF box.
Yeah, that guy. Wasn't he the guy who played Mr. Rogers?
Yes. That's the guy. You know, I remember when David taught a lizard to yawn and then tossed in a jelly bean.
That was awesome.
That was
awesome.
awesome. Super awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa. We owe David a huge apology, right?
Yeah.
We should go talk to him, visit him at Père Lachaise Cemetery.
Père Lachaise, that's not where David is. That's where Balzac's buried.
Saxbury?
No, not that dickwad!
The Ministry of Unknown Science asks, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus?
I do.
I do.
Yes, I have a personal relationship with Jesus, and he's got issues. What? What did I do wrong?
Nothing.
What?
It's Sunday.
And?
And it was supposed to be our day.
Jesus, it's the Super Bowl. My friends are coming over.
Who stabs a pope?
No idea. Whoever's assigned to this case better know what he's doing.
I assure you I do, Sergeant O'Shaughnessy.
Detective Elephant Man.
Oh, crap.
Well, Simon, the time has come to make your decision.
Well, you know, Jesus is a really great religious figure, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm gonna have to dump him.
Oh, physical challenge.
Oh, you know what this means.
Oh yeah, this is fair.
Hey, come on!
I'll see you in hell.
Hi. You want to be a mech tonight?
Vocabulary. We got a powwow.
Hey, can we make this quick? I've got my balls in a lot of pies.
Vocabulary. We're letting you go.
What? Look it. I know I snort an assload of blow on the job, but I'm trying to keep my edge. And don't worry, I'm gonna close this Polanski schmuck. It's gonna be a big pile of cake for you guys. So get out of my dick!
Rabbi Herschel.
Herschel, that rascally rabbi. Herschel, that dastardly bad guy. Herschel, that's one super rambunctious Jew. Oh, who can down a pound of locks, like a freaking orthodox. Herschel, that dude. Oh, who can down a pound of locks, like a freaking orthodox? Who could win a Nazi brawl with a deadly matzo ball? Who could be a Rudovich, then a freaking Dubovich? Herschel, that dude.
You have learned my techniques well, young disciple. That's right. Hey, you shoved! What are you going to do about it, huh? Okay, then take this! My disciple! Here, master! Can you not hear the sound of my victory? I hear little or nothing. Perhaps I should turn it off. Ha! I win the conflict. You only think so. Because you haven't read between the lines. I have something for your master in my pocket. You have proven yourself in a fight. Not even a herd of leprechauns can defend against my dancing finger style.
For 6.5 years, at the end of every ministry show, we would gesture up to the lighting booth and say, "Take her home, Lopez." In the show, Lopez was our invisible lab assistant who was up in the booth running videos and the computers and all that. But really, the guy who was up in the actual booth was this magical wizard who made all of our comedic dreams come true. And that was David Spancer.
Thank you, David. You ripped our hearts a new asshole.
So, on behalf of all of us here, take him home, Lopez. Thank you.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, presenting the Lifetime Achievement Award for Best David Spancer, Los Angeles City Council member Jose Huizar. Since award winner David Spancer could not be with us tonight, accepting on his behalf will be Rico Galliano.
Hi, everyone. The last session of the Los Angeles City Council for 2011 was held on December 17th, just a few days ago. And thanks to Jessica Wethington McLean, a friend who works on the staff of Council member Jose Huizar, this is how the Council concluded its work for the year.
Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also ask that we adjourn today in honor of David Lawrence Spancer. David Spancer was born on April 24th, 1968 in Queens, New York, and came to Los Angeles with his family in 1975 when he was 7 years old. He grew up in Los Angeles, loved the city, and felt like a native. He and his wife and best friend, April Lundstrom, made their home in Eagle Rock neighborhood of Council District 14. David graduated from UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television with honors in 1993 and enjoyed a successful creative career in the film and TV industry. He managed major network television sitcom writing departments for nearly a decade, earning credits on countless popular shows, including That 70s Show, The Big Bang Theory, Just Shoot Me, The Larry Sanders Show, and many others. In recent years, he worked as a web producer at ABC.com and videographer for the Ministry of Unknown Science sketch comedy show, which, because he was collaborating with creator friends, felt more like fun than work. He was a very loving, kind, vibrant person with an abundant and creative life, which he and April filled with friends and family. David was known for his quirky sense of humor and as someone with a great zest for life, with the ability to find silliness in the oddities of people and circumstances. He had a way of setting people at ease and making them laugh at him or even at themselves. David was an avid music fan. He also enjoyed mid-century modern design, comedy, and a good political debate. He loved living in Eagle Rock and being a part of the young professional community there. He was one of the creators of Eagle Rock Talk, a web-based local radio forum which facilitated many lively and memorable conversations about community issues and interests. Among a long list of career and personal achievements, David took special pride in having become a grilled cheese champion in the annual Los Angeles Grilled Cheese Invitational, and he was an early adopter of technology, web-based communications, and was active on social networks. In fact, during the last days of David's life, he and April used social networks to keep their friends and family informed and allow people to post memories and tribute to David so that he could enjoy them, immersing himself in the love and joy those in his life wanted to share with him, even as he said goodbye. David was diagnosed with cancer less than a year ago and passed away on December 14 at the far too young age of 43 years old. He is survived by his wife April, as well as his mother Cookie Spancer, his brother Stan Spancer, and a large circle of loving friends, family, and associates. A memorial will be held this Sunday, December 18 at 2 p.m. at Los Angeles Center Studios in downtown Los Angeles. We will certainly miss him. Eagle Rock community will miss him, and my staffer, Jessica Wethington McLean, a good friend of the family, will also certainly miss him. Great individual that added a lot to life the short time he was here.
Thank you. Other adjourning motions? Mr. LaBange.
So I don't know about you, but I feel pretty good about city government all of a sudden. Although I do believe it's pronounced Machado, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Huizar did a fine job summing up David's amazing life, but what he didn't and couldn't sum up was David's amazing death. David didn't spend the last year saying, "Why me?" He, along with April, allowed us all in to see that the process of dying can be a beautiful thing, even when it's painful. And right up to the end, he had that astonishingly hilarious and kind of sick sense of humor. And I'm honored that April asked me to end this program, almost, by telling you about his last bit of comedy. Many of you saw this on the Spancer's Got Cancer Facebook page, but in case you missed it, April was with David a few days before he passed, and their cat Miette walks by, and April makes a clicking sound to get the cat to come over, like, and David goes, "God, I won't miss that when I'm dead." That sound had apparently annoyed him for years. Should have maybe talked about that. April laughs and is inspired, so she and the others in the house at the time convince him to compile a list of all the things he will not miss from his otherwise pretty blessed life. And this is the hilarious shit he came up with. Things I'm not going to miss when I'm dead. Cheese nips. Rush. Also the talk show host. The metric system. Florida. Chuck fucking Lorre. So now you know what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Host of Snowballs. The Skipper. Local news. Blue M&Ms. MSG. Regis. Liverwurst. Ziggy. 94.7 FM The Wave. Cumin. And the number one thing David Spancer will not miss, cancer, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we can all take great comfort in that, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spancy Awards thanks you for a magical evening. Tonight we have remembered together the life and journey of a son, a husband, a brother, a dear, dear friend, our hero. Each of us has been blessed with the time we got to spend with David. We are blessed with the memories we carry, and we are blessed to have each other. Thank you, Cookie, Stan, and April, from the bottom of our hearts and forever, for fueling David's life with your love every day of his life. And thanks for letting us be here today with you.
In just a moment, please join us on the roof of the Beaudry Theater to look out on the lights of David's beloved downtown Los Angeles and to raise a glass in tribute. But before we go, we'd like you to locate the laminated lyric sheet you received with your programs, assume the crash position, and join us in the classic song from the Muppet movie, The Rainbow Connection, which was, of course, originally written, recorded, and performed by David Spancer. Thank you. so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to ignore it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that wishes would be heard and answered, and wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this a sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
I found love. Didn't even know I needed it, but I found love. Never even crossed my mind. I found love. Had a garden, never weeded it, but I found love. Took an apple just in time. I found love in the fall, and it did not hurt at all. I found sunlight and flowers of some showers. I can feel my heart touch my Adam's apple. I can feel a feather in my head. There is a lightness, politeness, finger every single tootsie's tap till dawn comes and finds me never in my bed. Didn't even know I needed it, but I found love. Never even crossed my mind. I found love in the spring, and I did not lose a thing. I found love in the fall, and it did not hurt at all. I found sunlight and flowers, suns and showers. I can feel my heart touch my atoms out